I'd like to give everyone a warm welcome to 2023 Rome Business School Business Fair. So we're going to be starting shortly. This event is proudly sponsored by Apex Commodity and Petrocam Nigeria. I'll be introducing our moderator. She's going to be moderating today's event in person of Mrs. Ajoke. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning once again.
Good morning.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here. In case you don't know, let me start by announcing that I'm an alumnus of Rome Business School, Nigeria. Yeah. So it's my honor and pleasure to introduce our country director, a man that has succeeded in making this school a household name, a man that has succeeded in establishing standards that are beyond what I and a lot of people expected in Nigeria. It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Humphrey. Please to the high table. Welcome, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate you. Rome Business School literally changed my life. It changed the trajectory of my career. On LinkedIn, in the office, I just carried the matter for him. Thank you once again. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for yourselves. Given the go-ahead to commence officially, so as we commence, we trust that God will go with us. We are going to call on Dr. Humphrey Akanazo to give us the event objectives. Why are we here? He's going to share with us briefly. Dr. Sir, to share the event objectives. A round of applause for him. It can be louder.
Good morning, all.
Good morning.
Good. I hear the voices of businessmen and women who want to change the narratives of the business landscape of Nigeria. Is it not why we are here?
Yeah.
Good. No matter how small it is, we'll still make impact. I want to, first of all, recognize our speakers this morning. They will introduce them in a special way for honoring our invitation. They are men that have a lot of experience and they have a lot for us this morning. As I was rightly introduced, my name is Humphrey Akanazo, and I'm alumnus of Rome Business School also. I studied in Rome before I came back to Nigeria. And I want to talk about the business fair. When we talk about the Rome Business School business fair, here in this part of the world, or generally, it sounds like it's the normal exhibitions or expos, we have around. It is not like that, though it has some bit of, that embedded in it. So the idea behind the business fair is to support the learning process and career development of our students, especially those of them who have taken the pathway of entrepreneurship. So in Rome Business School, when you register and before you start your program, we normally send out a form where students fill the pathways they will follow during their course of learning in Rome Business School. So we have two pathways, and these pathways are directed or managed by the Career Service Department. So when you hear Career Service Department, in our country, Nigeria, we begin to think, what does that mean? Career service, it sounds HR, it sounds like recruitment, it sounds like, a lot of things come to mind. Still, all those things are part of it. Why I want to explain a little bit about the career service before I talk about the business fair is because the career service will give us the foundation of how the importance and the benefits of this business fair. So the career service is like the guidance and counseling department. I don't know if it's a department in the Nigerian regular university landscape. I don't know, I didn't study here, but I know that there is this guidance and counseling department in our regular universities. So what they basically do there is to, of course, advise students when they have issues with their careers, or they have sometimes assembly and they talk to students about their career. But it's different here. So what the career service does is to monitor your career development during your 1 year. There are a lot of services the career service department gives to our students. So those services are designed to take care of specific needs of our students. That is why when you register, for them to understand those expectations, those needs of our students, they send you a form to fill. So there are two career pathways. One is career acceleration, the other one is entrepreneurship project. So for the career acceleration, is mostly for those who want to grow in their job, employees who are our students who are actively employed, and those who are seeking employment, to help them to build their CVs, to build their competencies, their knowledge, so that they will be able to be visibly strong to the employment environment in Nigeria. We also have those of them who are not that they are not satisfied with what they have. Probably, of course, everybody wants to grow. They want to get to the next cadre of management, or they want to change their professional, how would I put it, their sector entirely. Maybe you have been in the HR, you now want to go to marketing. You have been in the bank, you want to go to FMCG. Do you understand? So it depends. So what the career service department does is to call you. If you have chosen the career acceleration pathway, they call you and they have what we call individual meetings with you. And they ask you questions. So what do you want to achieve with this? What are you expecting from Rome Business School within this 1 year and after the 1 year? They will now be able to tell you, okay, amongst these services, these are the ones that will be suitable for you. And then they give you the timetables to follow it. But you can still follow all the programs. For those of them who opt for entrepreneurship project, there are those who already have businesses running, but they want to upscale it. Or there are some professionals who have some side hustles, or those who are planning their retirement packages, or those who want to leave the full-time employment and start a business. So these are the ones the entrepreneurship project pathway is meant for. They will still call you and have individual meetings with you to understand what you really want to do, your expectations, and what you need to help you to grow your business. And one of the activities we offer these students who opt for entrepreneurship project is this business fair. So during the business fair, of course, we have exhibitions. That's why I said, if you are talking of exhibition, it's there. We have expos, but in a small scale, you will see some of our students who started some, small businesses, like in food processing. Those of them who started a new consultancy firm, marketing firms, different activities. You see them come to, expose their products and talk about it. And we also try to help them to make it more visible on our platforms. We give them opportunity to make it more visible. During this business fair also, we try to discuss some of those topic areas that border around upscaling our businesses, facing some of the challenges small businesses, meet in Nigeria. Nigeria is a very complex business environment, so I don't think it will be enough to discuss our challenges and the solutions we require to scale through the challenges. During this period also, of course, we help our students to network because, of course, our students need to network amongst themselves, but at the same time, we allow external participants to join us so that our students can also, have access to external participants, and those external participants, especially companies who are looking for consultants, for employees, who are looking for different things, can interact with our students and probably have some partnerships with them. And sometimes our students can get maybe one business or the other, or you can also get one business or the other from our students because most of them work in big companies. A lot of, what do you call them, multinational companies. Also local big conglomerates. We have a lot of them here, our students. Of course, you can see that Mrs. Ajoke is one of them. If you look at our profile, you will know. And a whole lot of other students that you will meet. So the business fair gives both our students and our partnering companies and also external participants the opportunity, of course, to meet, listen to important subjects bordering around businesses, and if they want, they can as well expose or exhibit their businesses. And that's why you see companies like Petrocam, Apex, and other partnering companies on ground. So it's free to join us in any of these activities, business fair, career fair. So once again, I want to welcome you to Rome Business School. Those of you who are just, coming to Rome Business School for the first time, sit, listen, and participate actively. And of course, if you need further inquiries on our programs, our master's programs, our head of marketing and our sales manager are all here to help you explain better. Thank you very much and enjoy your stay.
Round of applause. Keep it going, round of applause. Thank you, Dr. Humphrey Akalafu. We're going to move very quickly. We are a very few minutes behind what we have on our program, but we're sticking to that program strictly. It is my honor and pleasure to do a brief introduction of our distinguished guests and partners. You will note that there are some people that you are curious to know about that I'm not going to introduce yet because the session is coming. So it is my pleasure to start with the introduction. Is there anybody to take them, welcome them? Okay, we'll recognize them with a round of applause. So representing Bayi Foundation is Mr. Chibuike Iwo Ayawo. A round of applause for him. Thank you for coming. We appreciate you. We appreciate your support. We have Mr. Essien Idongesit. He is a proud alumnus of Rome Business School. A round of applause for him. Who are you? Yes, so I recognize you. He's going to be one of the judges when we're having the pitch session, which we're going to get to sooner. And then I have Mrs. Ogogo Eyo, the CEO of Petrocam. A round of applause for this awesome madam. Thank you so much for all that your company is doing for Rome Business School. We appreciate you. And then I have Mrs. Jawano Amadou Bello of Afex Commodities. A round of applause. This school has been awesome. Mr. Suleiman of Afex Commodities, can we recognize you, please? Are you here?
or he's downstairs. Okay, when he comes in, we'll reserve his round of applause. He's going to be one of the judges for the pitch session. You will notice that I have some people on my right side. I don't want to jump the gun. We're going to display their profiles, but first of all, everybody, I want to say thank you for coming. I'm not supposed to market, but I need to say this in case you're not aware. Rome Business School of Nigeria did not pay me to advertise, but I'm a working advert because those that know me 2 years ago have seen the difference that the school has made to me. Well, some of the credit goes to me too because I put in the work. But Rome Business School did a lot. So I want to say to you that if you have anybody who is considering doing a program after this fair, talk to our people, check the profile, check the programs. I came in for an MS International Human Resources Management. I've been doing HR for long ago. I've done this certification, but this Rome Business School, it opened my brain. And I want to tell you something very quickly, in 2 minutes, no, in 2 seconds. We have the option of virtual, we have the option of physical. I am a networker. I believe in meeting people. For example, if I have the opportunity now, I'll take everybody's number because it will be useful for me, I'll be useful for you by God's will. It's about value. So I said, the difference in virtual and physical is significant a bit. More so now that the dollar is the way it is, but I said I'll do physical. And so in my class, about something, a very rich, robust collection of students, but like just about 8 of us were physical. A lot of my colleagues were even outside Lagos. You see those 8 of us that used to come regularly. Today, if you count the top HR leaders in the industry, there's one of them that has not either collaborated with us, called us, connected, because all of them came to the class. I know there's a way you come as a lecturer in 2022, 2023, and the class is empty, just 2 people, the rest of them are online. The connection is never going to be the same. They taught us. We all did well, we had a good time, we bonded both online and offline. But I'm saying that those of us that came physically, the kind of networking that we got is awesome. So talk to your community, advise them, and the payment was instrumental. When I came out, they said it was XYZ. I'll not mention the figure. If you're interested, you check later. I was like, please, so, and I'll pay one. So they said, just tell us how many times it was flexible. So I'm saying that the payment was flexible, the networking was more than what we have bargained for, and then the teaching, the lessons are something that will change your career. A round of applause for Rome Business School. So we're moving very quickly to the panel discussion. There's going to be a panel discussion. Today's topic is building the entrepreneurship ecosystem in Nigeria through connections and collaborations. Building the entrepreneurship ecosystem in Nigeria through connections and collaborations. And to actually dig into this topic, to pick the topic and give us a full understanding of it, to expand the topic in a manner that your mind is going to open to immense possibilities that you didn't think of before. I have 3 accomplished professionals here. I'm proud of myself to be an alumnus of this school because it's not every day that you're able to get this kind of accomplished professionals together at once. So I have on the screen Mr. Akeem Onosanya. Please, you can quickly read through his profile. A round of applause for him. Please step up to the table, sir. Mr. Akeem Onosanya, please take your seat. He is currently the head of startup Lagos Innovates at LSETF. Is there anybody that cannot see this screen? We can, because I'm not allowed to read. We're using technology. So the next person I'm privileged and honored to call is Mr. Sheye Olorotimi, the founder of MSME Africa. Please step up to the table. You are welcome. Please, the applause can be louder. They will clap for you a very soon one day. By God's grace. So please, you can see his profile. He is the founder of MSME Africa, and we are privileged and honored to have him in our midst today. Pleasure to invite Mr. Tope Adewuya to the table. A round of applause for him. Please let's make it louder. Let's recognize and appreciate them. Tope Adewuya is the General Manager of Webzen Agro Allied Services, the GM of Webzen Agro Allied Services. So you can also follow him on LinkedIn. He's on LinkedIn. You'll be able to see what he has done and what he's doing. So I want to advise you as we're going through this session, you might not want to distract yourself, but after, check those names out and please follow them on LinkedIn. That's the honest truth. If you see what they are doing or what they are into or what they have been doing over the days, you will understand why Rome Business School Nigeria reached out to them for this particular session. So we're moving into the program itself. It's a 1 hour, 30-minute session. And I want to tell you that if you have a pen, make a point of jotting. There are one or two things that you take away. When you go for programs like this, you cannot remember everything, but make sure you have a key takeaway. But I'm going to quickly summarize one thing in a second. The topic again is building the entrepreneurship ecosystem in Nigeria through connections and collaborations. It is long, but it is short. The summary of connections and collaborations is networking. Networking will do for you what your academics cannot do. These gentlemen are going to take you through the different dimensions of how networking could change your career, how it could change your business, how connections and collaborations could assist you. So a round of applause for yourself as we go into the session. One more time, a round of applause for yourself. Not for me now. Not for me. So don't be stingy with it. Okay? So we're about to start. And my panelists, are you ready? Are you ready? The topic is building the entrepreneurship ecosystem in Nigeria through connections and collaborations. I'm going to start with Mr. Tope, even though I have been, well, I'm not that happy that I moved from his side, but no problem. So, Mr. Tope, I'm coming to you first. This topic is broad, but it's not further than what we can break down in a few seconds, sorry, in a few minutes now. I want you to tell me your understanding of entrepreneurship. That's what.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Tope is the name. Entrepreneurship, when I got the topic, I also felt, oh, this could have just been networking for entrepreneurs. That's how I interpreted. So don't look at the long, all of us did summary in secondary school, just look at networking, how can I network? And that's how I look at it. So what is entrepreneurship? That's the idea, that's the, I'll put it in a way, you being able to look at a market, look at a pain point in the market and being able to solve that pain point. That's purely what an entrepreneur is. What that simply means is this: you look at this environment, what do we need in this environment, and then you are able to provide a solution to that particular need. That's basically what an entrepreneur is. Someone who can think, someone who can try to solve a problem. In Nigerian context, we have challenges. Someone who can look at that challenge and try to solve the problem. That's why you see a lot of foreigners coming into Nigeria. Nigerians don't see opportunity, but an entrepreneur see opportunity. So someone that can see opportunity in the midst of challenges, that's an entrepreneur. Thank you.
A round of applause for me, please. Thank you very much. It's important for us to set the tone for this meeting. 1 hour, 30 minutes of your time is something that we value. We don't take it for granted. We're going to keep it moving very quickly. But I'm going to be asking the other discussants to also give us their perspective so we understand why we are here. So I'm going to be going to Mr. Sheye now. Sir, could you please give us your own perspective of entrepreneurship? There's so much entrepreneurship online now. So what is an entrepreneur today?
Okay. Good morning, everyone. So when you talk about entrepreneurship, maybe I first want to talk about what it is not. So entrepreneurship is not about sacking your boss, right? Because as people say, sack your boss and then start doing your own thing. It's a lot more than that. And somebody says you want to understand what something is, maybe you want to talk about what it is not. So it's not about sacking your boss. It's not about getting rich quick. And it's not about having so much free time to enjoy. And it's also not about having a boss. Because even when you become an entrepreneur, you have very many bosses. All your customers, all your clients, even your employees, they become your bosses because you have to serve the step. So when it comes to entrepreneurship, I think 4 things. There must be a need that you have identified. There must be value you are bringing on the table. There must be a venture that you have created for that. There must be profit that you want to generate at the back of your mind. And so when you have all those 4 items, then there must also be a risk. There must also be the risk part of it. There is no business without risk. So 5 things. There is need, right? There's an idea that you have. There's a venture that you create. There is a solution you are bringing on the table. And there are risks that you are trying to either mitigate, avoid, or overcome to solve the problem. It's basically you seeing a need that you have identified and saying this is the solution that I would create to meet this need, while also making profit and while also taking note of the risks associated with it and telling myself this is how I'm going to mitigate them, avoid them, or manage them. That's what I think entrepreneurship is all about.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for him. We're not going to give a clap for all for sharing his initial perspective. It's important that we clap. I need you to please make a point of jotting whatever they're saying down for your own good and for my own good. I'm going to be moving to Mr. Kim Olosoya. There's so much entrepreneurship talk online, social media. Who is an entrepreneur in today's world? Please.
Thank you very much, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I think the beauty of speaking last is I can just say it said it all. But two things they said. One, the first speaker about solving the problem, and I like the fact that the second speaker said what entrepreneurship is not. A lot of people have gotten shocked. You think being an employee is hard? Consider being an entrepreneur. 9 to 5 is what you owe your employer. As an entrepreneur, you do 9 to 9. Even when you are sleeping, you are thinking. And that's not even going to the mental health struggles, the day of tears, the day of blood, sweat, and tears, the day of only you understand what is doing you. The day of your employee just want to get their salary and go. And you're like, God of mercy, where would I pay myself from? But they assume that because of the car you bought when you were working 9 to 5, you're a big man. Not knowing that, okay, that car won't change it in 10 years. But don't worry, just take the salary and go. But in my own perspective, entrepreneurship is deploying resources to create value. Now, that value can be associated with solving an existing problem, or it can be associated with creating a problem to be solved. Two areas. One, while we were all in university, we had friends who were selling charger and earpiece. It was value because you can imagine if you schooled in Lagos and you schooled in the University of Lagos or even Yabate. It would take you about 2 hours to go from Yabate to Computer Village to buy earpiece, and those earpiece were always cost. As soon as they enter your pocket and they start doing as if they are wounds, the next thing, one ear is working, the other one is not working. You think your ear is the problem, okay, how much do I get in 700? It's called 1 day. So you have to take 2 hours from your time to go all the way to Computer Village under the hot sun. Or somebody is dragging you here, another person is dragging you there. Then you are hoping that you get the original one, then you come back to school. But a student will then say, why should my colleagues be doing that? Let me go and buy all the earpieces that I think. Then the person will then raise money from either his own pocket money, from father, from mother, from boyfriend, girlfriend, and stuff. Put together 100,000 naira, go to Computer Village, buy earpiece, buy charger, and buy phone case. And bring it to school. Days of BDM, put it there, room 202, come and buy you. Now, what you've done, you've created value because you saved your fellow colleagues 2 hours of going to go and buy it. And then you charge a fee. Now, that fee is even still cheaper for them if they're going to put their transport money and time value of money into perspective. So you've deployed resources and you've created value. That is for an existing problem. That can be a new problem. Now, who told us to start buying keys for our Nokia 3310? You know, it is now. Looking back, it was why are you buying keys for 3310? Phone that can break ties. But you know what? Someone created an illusion of class if your phone is inside the case. And everybody wanted to buy a case. It wasn't like the phone had problems. Your phone will fall down in the case, it will still break. But if you don't have a phone without a case, as if you don't like yourself. At some point, your bicycle protector that had dark screen, so that when you're inside that phone, nobody can read your message. The system people money. So it is creating value either to solve an existing problem or to solve a problem that you can create. But the most important thing is you gather resources, and that is where the banks come in, and that's where investments come in. You add value, and then you create wealth, either for yourself or for people that you've gotten resources from. But I will then end with, please, if you're an entrepreneur in the house, put your hands together for yourself. See, I don't think I can try it yet, but I envy everybody who is doing business. If you're not doing business in Nigeria, you need an award. Because you are dealing with an environment that sometimes is staggered against you. And I know sometimes when your clients say, you're just adding money to this thing, you don't want to make the pricing. What they don't know sometimes is that, only know that I'm even trying to break even. To just break even. And it's also ensuring that there is efficient management of resources. And that is why sometimes the best entrepreneurs are the ones who have spent some time in 9 to 5. They've been intrapreneurs. They've helped people manage their own businesses. They then came out to start managing their own businesses. If there are two entrepreneurs, one that has worked before, especially if you've done C-suite before, and one who has not worked before, there is a difference in how they manage their businesses. Because efficiently managing resources, sometimes the textbooks will only help you. It's until you put your savings and the thing disappear, you will know what not to do and what to do. So basically, adding value, deploying resources, and creating wealth for shareholders, stakeholders, or even yourself to buy the next car for yourself. Thank you.
Round of applause, please. Thank you very much. Wow. I'm sure that entrepreneurs in the house are now waiting, or common entrepreneurs are already learning of what you need to offer. One question I'm going to ask you quickly is, what value are you bringing to the table? What value are you bringing to your clients? What problem are you solving? And if you don't have any more you're solving, start thinking now. So we're going to get into it. Thank you for all the round of applause. At this point, we're just going to sit back, listen to them, take our notes, and then note your questions till the end of the session. We need to keep the time. So, Mr. Antokwe, I know that you are focused on agribusiness. I had a small discussion when I came in, and I know that it's a sector that is supposed to be providing everything we need, but they have their challenges. I want you to share with us very briefly how has the experience been in both agribusiness and the food manufacturing investments. How has the experience been? Good, bad, sour? Share with us very briefly.
Okay, I would say it's good. I'm always positive, irrespective of what's going on. So it's good. But when I say good, I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. It's challenging. And since you use the word challenging, so the option is not there, but I think the right option is challenging, but also interesting. And I'm sure many entrepreneurs here will bear witness. Most entrepreneurs, because I sit on the finance side and the business support side, most entrepreneurs see me as an enemy sometimes. These guys want to take over our business. And I'm like, if you don't succeed, I'm not going to succeed. My success is dependent upon your success. But I can understand, and it's a challenging environment. But how I look at it is, if you keep looking at the challenges, you probably will not do anything. The good book says that he that is considering the wind will not sow. So what I always tell people is, and that's why I define entrepreneur, what I always tell people is look at the opportunity inside that challenge and then bring out the opportunities. I'll give you an example. Food manufacturing. I have a client, short example. I have a client in Ondo State, that's in the oil belt. Some years back, in the former administration, they banned value for FX, importation of palm nut products. It was part of the political items that was banned for, there is no value for FX, so if you want to import them, you have to go and source your FX, your dollar from another source. So that created a kind of challenge in the market. I've jumped a lot of things because of time, but let me just quickly go back. We funded someone in the palm oil value chain who was supposed to extract crude palm kernel oil. Crude palm kernel oil is one of the things that they use in your refined vegetable oil. Sorry, I'm taking time. Refined vegetable oil and things like that. Now, when we funded her, let's say we funded her with 20 million. It's more than that, but I just use it as an example. Suddenly, just after we funded her, government woke up on one side of the bed and said, look, palm nut products are not valid for FX. What that means is this: the flour mills, forgotten the name of this other mill in Ibadan, all of them, they are major players in this sector. They bring in heavily. What that means is that these guys will now no longer be able to get FX from their lands. They will have to go and source FX from the open market. So what did these guys do? These guys, don't forget, I'm dealing with an SME. These guys are, depending on the definition of SME anyway, but let's not go to them. These guys are bigger than my own car. So what they did was that instead of going to source for FX, they just deployed extension guys to the field. Go and source for palm nut anywhere you can get it. Now, my own client suddenly goes out of business overnight. Because when we were buying, nobody was buying local nuts. When you are taking your palm oil from the, when you are taking your oil from the nut, people throw away the nuts. And that is what I need for my crude palm kernel oil CKPO. Now, because the flour mills and co now deploy their own people into the market to look for the same products, demand for the products shot up, so prices go up. Don't forget, my own player is an SME. So eventually, and there's something called break-even point, there's something called minimum order quantity, and all these small things, I'm sure you know them. What that simply means is this: when my client refines to 20 million, maybe it will fill a 10,000 liters truck, and then she can bring it to Ibadan. Okay, the second company I want you to remember is Rome, it's in Ibadan. And then they can convert it to the refined vegetable oil that you take. But now, the 20 million is not enough to buy the product that will fill 10,000 liters truck. Now, the CKPO has 48 hours. After 48 hours, free fatty acid content starts to increase, which means quality starts to decrease. Sorry, I'm going a bit technical. But what that simply means is this: she doesn't have enough money to do this volume that she can do again. When I did the financial analysis, I didn't know that government would wake up the next day and did what they did. So, for about 2 years, that business was struggling. But this is the angle I now want you to look at. We bought equipment and several other things. We spent about 50 million, but 20 million was the working capital. All other things were the factory equipment and this. We were supposed to bring some equipment in from Indonesia because for some reason. Anyway, what we now have to do was this, because it became so ineffective for us to continue that line of business. Fortunately for us, and this is how you should think as an entrepreneur, fortunately for us, that equipment is not a mono-use equipment. So we decided that, okay, instead of milling palm nuts, we can bring in some other legumes, your soybean and co, and also mill the same thing. And so we were able to continue to be in business until we stabilized. That business nearly shut down. I was telling you that sometimes when I defend with my board, I couldn't sleep because I'm like, I wrote the business plan well. I'm a little person. In all my thinking, I never knew government would wake up on the wrong side and ban something that will affect. But my point is this: when you are building your house or when you are planning your business, plan. There's a saying in my language, I'm from a particular part of Nigeria. When you are doing something, you plan that somebody else will affect you, so you plan their own and not say what you are doing. So that's not the correct interpretation, but it's a deeper interpretation in my language. But what I'm trying to say is this: don't look at the challenges as a business owner. Challenges are normal to come. The wind will blow against your business. So plan for the wind that will blow. So now when I do business, when I do analysis, this time around I look at what can government do. Right now we are investing as a company into e-commerce business. Government has not started with that 100% sure it will start soon. And I'm thinking, okay, what can government do? They can bring this kind of law, they can bring this kind of tax. They are already doing it in Kenya anyway. So I know that we'll borrow it one day. So I've already factored that into what I'm doing right now. Because I've learned from that experience that look, this place, somebody can just wake up, didn't sleep well yesterday, and just say, look, we can't do it. And that is how it's going to be. So, as a business, don't be constrained by the limitations. There are several of them. But when you are planning, plan in such a way that you plan for them. You cannot over-plan. You cannot. Some of us get paralysis analysis, which is true. But it's better for you to over-plan, if there's a word than that, than for you not to have factored in the external factors. And when you now venture out, things like that now affect you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We're conscious of time, so we'll move very quickly. But I want to say that everything you said is valid, and we all know it. No matter the plan, Nigeria will still touch you, but we are moving. So I'm moving to Mr. Olorotimi. How crucial is networking for entrepreneurs in establishing connections and increasing the reach? I'm asking you this question because we're focusing on collaboration and connection. Some of us believe that it's only the work and the break. But in establishing your business, in growing your business, how crucial is networking for you, please?
Okay, so networking, collaboration, I think that we can all emphasize. Let me give an example. Earlier this year, I was meant to be somewhere, but because of what the person did to me, I said I wasn't going to go. But later I changed my mind, And then when we got there, it took me about several opportunities that he said, hey, I could have recommended, I could have shared them with you, but we are people I decided not to. I was very angry. But you know what happened? Because I honored that invitation, he thought he owed me something. The following week, he sent me a link to an application. And then by the time we applied, I applied on the last day. And by virtue of that application, by virtue of that networking, we got into a program that has given us $50,000 in grants, that has taken me to about 3 countries outside Nigeria, that has opened me up to a lot of capacity building. And that's just one of those things. So collaboration networking. You just never can tell who has that thing that you need, that information that puts you to the next level. Collaboration is key, networking is key, but be active, be significant, make a lot of sense when you're doing it.
Congratulations for being here today, because if we just close now, we're done, but there's still so much coming. I want to say thank you to everybody. I hope you're taking notes. I said that networking will do for you what your academic credential will not do for you. We're moving to the next person, Mr. Akim. A lot of us are early stage entrepreneurs. We need resources, we are prayed, we are fasted, we are talking to our network, our families and friends. How can we access resources? How can we get support for startups? What can we do differently? Over to you, Kim.
Okay. Thank you very much. Most of the time, as a public servant, I always like to moderate the panel, so I'm the one asking the questions. And sometimes I'm being asked the question. But before I answer, let me just piggyback on what they said. Now, they are talking about, okay, first, apologies on behalf of the government. I don't know what they did, but apologies. It's not me, it was on their behalf. They'll wake up on the good side first. So we talked about networking to help ourselves as entrepreneurs. But who understands the reason why MC Oluomo is a very, very influential politician in Lagos and Nigeria? Because behind him are thousands of votes. So you see MC Oluomo, the politician sees votes in their thousands. Why? Because he's been able to galvanize people together. And when you have numbers behind you, you can break almost any door that is locked. So the kind of people you are trying to meet as 1, 2, 3 entrepreneurs, coming together as a group. Now you go and meet any bank to say, or any bank, let me meet anybody, any bank can say we need loans for businesses, we want it to be 9 single digits, no collateral. It is only you look at it like, okay, so I'm not carrying it now, so my own CIC board and tell them that one person enter my office and say she wants single digit. But imagine you go to that place and say, my name is X, Y, and Z, I'm the General Secretary of Association of SMEs, you have 500 SMEs, 300 are doing agriculture, 200 are doing fishery, 100 are doing this. We need loans for our members at 10%, we will guarantee by virtue of being a group. Will they answer you or not? That is an angle of collaboration. Coming together helps you to be able to have a good bargain. And for people who do procurement here, you know that the more you are buying, the cheaper you get it in front of your vendors. And you are buying more because you are able to what? Aggregate demand together to be able to go to the negotiating table. That's one. 2 is going back on the side that the government wakes up. Now, it will be difficult for any politician to scrap the Nigerian Union of Road Transport Workers. Why? Why? Because of what? Their numbers. And their bond is difficult. The reason why they can scare, the reason why the bike men are always the easiest prey. Why? They don't have a union yet. They are scattered. Yeah. Half of them are Hausa, half of them are Yorubas, half of them are Igbo. So if you touch one group, it's scattered. Try it with the bus drivers. They will just come together. Let's touch Agege branch. Let's touch Agege and Oshodi. They are done. So sometimes when government wants to enact certain policies, especially if it's going to come from the House of Assembly or legislature, there are always processes that they do. I think before a bill becomes an act and becomes they do consultative forums. So if they say, okay, we want to increase the price of Means in Nigeria from 2 naira per kg to 100 naira per kg. You say, okay, cook your own as it. So when they are doing a processing forum, all of you carry yourself here. The same Ankara. The person is already angry. He's already surprised. Say, but he gets on that, right? And then you say we are so members. We have 10,000 members across the country. To you said 10,000. So him is seeing 10,000 votes that he can lose if he doesn't listen to you. And you say, well, we heard you are trying to do this. It will not work. And if he does this, we will shut down this, we will do this. It doesn't have to be violence. But let them know that, see, we are plenty, and they say, oh, they will listen. The shoulder pad will calm down. Because you are coming to show them that, see, we are aggregating everybody. Now, I used to work in the health insurance field, and I was trying to look at the history of how workers got health insurance in the UK. And guess what? All of them came together under a party, the Labour Party. In the Labour Party in Nigeria is, don't touch our INC chairman will beat you, it's not that one. It's workers coming together to advocate for their rights. And one of the things they wanted was we cannot be working and you will not take care of us. One of the things we want is social security in terms of pensions, health insurance, and the like. The politicians who were running for elections saw them as saying, if you don't answer these guys, and they come together and get a candidate amongst them that they will fund and they will push, we will lose the election. What do you want? Let us sign. So collaboration between SMEs not only helps you to get certain deals with funders and government, it also helps you to influence policies that would affect you on the long run. Which is, even if you come together as SME, who amongst you has a friend in the National Assembly that is going to greet the person, they are forgetting thinking I think it's Solano. We are thinking about increasing interest rate. You go to me and say, they want to do it. So before they even start the bill, someone has already carried placard for the National Assembly saying, we know you will do it tomorrow, don't do it today. And you can say, and sometimes what you can even do is, because you know the way they are thinking, you can even give them the policies to enact. And say, government, before you wake up, we say we wake you up, hey, this is what you should be doing. So that's just the importance of collaboration at SMEs and even unions. That is why HRs in Nigeria are enjoying it. In other countries where they are workers' union, your first headache is battling with union. And that is why private organizations don't allow workers' union. They know as soon as you get it, it is over. 30% salary increase. If you say no, they will shut the gate. One man come and say, greatest, and that is all. Everybody go home because of that union. As soon as you don't have a union, it breaks. You can divide and rule. So in terms of going back to the question of how small businesses can access resources, the truth is, yes, we'll say that funding and support is dwindling to the SMEs. But it's a circle. If your brother comes to you and says, I want to start business, I want to be selling iPhone, how much capital do you need? You say 3 million. You give him, he buys 2, he sells, he starts. After 6 months, you say, okay, where is the business going? He says, only God knows. So where's the capital I gave you? Open no laughing place is now, you know. As soon as you give me one, my wife just said to not use it the next day. Now, if someone comes to you for the same business, would you give the person money? No. Even if it is the genuine one. So there has been, we are suffering from sometimes the sins of our forefathers in terms of funding and support. But one thing helps to unlock these things, increase in capacity. Increase in capacity gives confidence. That's why for startup partners, when they want to go and raise money, you know what you say? My name is Hakim, I'm the CEO of this startup, I'm an alumni of Harvard. My co-founder, his name is Martin, I'm an alumni of Stanford. My CFO worked in Citibank, and my CTO worked in Paystack. As an investor, you will give them your salary. Why? Because you've seen that profile, you've seen that credibility. And the HR says, I'm an alumni of Road Business School Nigeria. You say, take my life. Just take that is capacity. Sometimes, so I work at LSTF and then we give loans to small businesses. And the simple question of how much do you make per month is difficult for some businesses to answer. You know how much you make and how much profit you make are two different things. Some don't even know the difference. Some people are applying for loans hoping to pay from revenue. No, you pay loans back from profit, from your margins. If you pay your loan back from your revenue, you cannot expand that business. So when they come and say, I make 100, 200,000 naira per month, give me a loan of so million, we say, because your books, we look at it together. Out of that 200,000 that you make, is matching every month, is 20k. And for us, you're supposed to pay your loan back from your margin. So if you do affordability, and we cannot take all your profits to be paying loan, we'll say we'll take 1/3 of that. I mean, how much 1/3 of 20k? 7k. 7k times 12, 84,000. So we say your affordability is 100k loan. You say it's super useless. But the question is, we look at the books. Ideally, so anybody asking you to pay loan back from your revenue is cannibalizing your business. Because you cannot plow back, you cannot expand. Those are capacities. So with increased capacity as early stage entrepreneurs, increased capacity as founders, even of tech startups, improves the opportunity of getting support and of getting funding. And sometimes capacity does not usually mean doing it for 10 years. And that is why you notice most of the people that are giving grants now, they have one strategy. They will have master class for 2 weeks. They will not give you the money after. Out of everybody that starts, half of them will finish the class. Out of that half will do presentation, half will because they know that sometimes the money is really not the problem of entrepreneurs. It's the capacity to run that business so that that money doesn't just get into the drain. So it's important, and that's why I say even when SMEs come together, it's also important to learn from each other from collaboration. Now imagine you want to start an oil and gas business, or you want to start a banking business, and then your WhatsApp group is when you do it. So I say, I will do this, I'll do this. They will be laughing. Say, in 1992, I tried that session to try that. All my money goes up. Don't, because you can either learn from somebody's successes or learn from their regrets and their failures. So even when it comes together as SMEs, also learning from ourselves. I want to do this business. What do you do? I don't know before. If you do it, but don't pass it this way. Because if you do it this way, one guy they need their money, you will crush your business together. Or even, just like you said, you got a machine thinking you can use to mill PKU. I tried to write it down, I forgot the name. Pilot. But what happened? Eventually, you changed to do something else with that same machine. That is from insights. You don't get insight by sitting in your room with you. You get insight by talking to fellow entrepreneurs. So I said, I be one mill my soya bean nuts, I don't get money. What do you need to mill is this machine? What do you think about that? I think we'll have to do. How did you get it? Because you discussed. So collaboration helps to break opportunities. Collaboration helps to interface with government and to also be at the forefront of policy. Collaboration helps to learn from each other's mistakes. And also collaboration helps to build capacity. And if we do that very well, all those 4 areas, we'll be able to get support and resources as small business owners. Thank you.
A round of applause. All right, we have like an hour left. We're going to keep it very quickly. But I want to say to you that the essence, the core of what business school is learning, developing, and making people better. We are talking about collaborations and connections. I don't know how many of you have exchanged cards, have spoken to each other. After this, we're not done that, do that, get to know each other. If you cannot network one-on-one, you will not network your business anyway, please. And one of the things I take a class that is called networking one-on-one. One of the things I say is that when you go to an event with your friends, don't sit with them. Sit with a stranger. So your first say hello to A, hello to B, and go home with at least 2 contacts, no matter how shy you are. So please, we're also here for the networking. Don't distract yourself. But when we finish, introduce yourself, get the card, you never know. As I sit down here, so if I don't collect their number, I'm not going home. So that's why I'm a student of Rome Desk, but I'm taught to leverage on every opportunity. So thank you very much for your patience. I'm going to Mr. Tokwe now. Mr. Akim has spoken. He said a lot, and we govern it. I need you to please come from the angle of, okay, this is what we're supposed to do. If we're looking at funding and getting grants, do you think the financial services should do more? Can they do more to support agribusiness? Or they're not doing enough?
Grants or
Either grants, either loans or financial services, do you think they can do more? I know that grants, because those are coming from NGOs, other services, it's easier, but do you think the financial services in Nigeria, can we do more?
so that because my bosses might be here. And then I'm sure this is a recorded version. Can they do more? Can the financial services sector do more? Yes, there's always room. But let me just modify it a bit and say, when you have expectations from, like I started the last question where I said, people usually have a funny feeling of thinking that the other person on the other end is your enemy. It's not. There are expectations. An example I would use is this. You know, the good book, somebody gave somebody five, somebody gave 5 naira, 2 naira, 1 naira. He expected a return on all those investments. The same thing. I work in the sector, agribusiness and consumer sector, where for every 1 naira that I'm giving, I'm expected to return the same as someone who is in the health service sector, someone who is in the advertisement sector, someone who is in the services sector. And the truth of it is this, my colleagues play in the telecom sector return far better than me in the agribusiness sector. So what motivation is there for the owner of the fund? And you know, in economics we've been taught that funds are limited, even though the funds are unlimited. So what motivation is there for the owner of the fund to want to give the fund to me, knowing fully well that he can actually give it to the telecom guy and double his money at a lesser risk? So I would look at it from this viewpoint that yes, the financial services sector can do better, but we as entrepreneurs, we as the one that need the funding, we also need to prepare ourselves better. There are expectations that I have of you. There are expectations that the fund owner have of me, the fund manager. And me, the fund manager, there are expectations I have of you, the one that wants to use the fund. So I expect that you use the example that if they ask you how much profit you are making, that you don't know how much you are making, as slight as you mentioned, that's actually a critical, okay, it's also in the same industry. That's actually a critical factor for me as a person. If you don't, I will summarize it in record keeping. If you don't keep records, forget it. Once you start your story, and I know that you don't keep records, you are already wasting your time. So record keeping becomes highly important, and that's one thing most of us don't do. Because you do something repetitively, or because you go to your store, I don't want to use shop. You go to your store every day. There's a tendency, even at home, most of us don't keep record. For example, those of us who are salaried, how many of you keep record? Apart from ladies don't respond, guys. Apart from, how many of us kept a record of how we spent last month? Okay, what's today? Today's second. How many of us kept a record of how we spent last month's salary? Trust me, most of us don't have a good record. If you don't have history, is important for you to be able to plan into the future. Data analysis is looking at history. If you don't have data, you cannot analyze. If you don't analyze, you cannot project into the future. So, starting from the viewpoint, whatever financial analysis can do or cannot do, you yourself, what can you do? Keep records, keep adequate records. If you don't have adequate records, you cannot do data analysis. All the big English that we are now using is what we should have been doing a long time ago. Most of us do data analysis on now, just that we don't know that we are doing data analysis. So most of us do forecasting, but if you don't have a good basis, you cannot forecast into the future. So for me, I would say, after you position yourself in such a way that you will be a good fit for the financial services to be able to say, look, we can deal with you. So keep record, that's number one thing I look at that. There are two other things. The second thing is the markets that you are going into. Like I tried to explain on entrepreneur. If you don't have a market, unless you are a monopolist, a monopolist unless you are PSN, if you don't have a market that you want to focus on, no matter how beautiful you are there, the example I always give people is this: anytime I do something like this, I say, look, it's a beautiful idea to sell flour, but it's not going to sell in Nigeria. Flour is beautiful. If you come to your family and say, look, I want to plant flowers at the back, I want to be selling roses, people will buy for you in your family. But take it outside of your family, proof of concept, that's what I'm talking about. Take it outside of your family, nobody's going to buy it. Well, some people will buy it, but there's no market for it in Nigeria. If you go to Europe, there's market for it. If you present flowers to a lady in Nigeria, it's likely to beat you up. if you present, okay, some people collect, thank you for your life. But if you present flower to someone in Europe, they will likely appreciate you. My boss celebrated 30 years marriage, and I was thinking about what to present to him. Of course, there are levels of gift that you can't buy for something. So it becomes a problem. And then I went online and I saw black, and I'm like, the kind of person I know, why is not going to? Yes, I don't know it's a bouquet and things like that, but that's what I'm trying to make. So it's a beautiful idea. Running a florist shop, pardon me if you're a florist, running a florist shop in Nigeria is a beautiful idea, but it's there in the market. So, second thing apart from your record is your market. And then third thing is what kind of risk are you carrying? And that's the example I tried to summarize in the area of the industries. Agribusiness is, I'm focusing on agribusiness, that's my field. So why would somebody want to fund you if you are depending on, for lack of better word, you are depending on external, for lack of better word, you are depending on God to succeed. I don't want to use God for, but I don't know how else to say it. When you come to me and you give me a business plan, and I'm like, you know this is a risk, there is S-Men crisis, thank God there's no more in Nigeria, there is this crisis, there is goods on the road getting bad and things like that. And you did not tell me that look, you have factoring goods in transit insurance. You did not tell me that you are factoring that you can plant an edge of Jacobra around your farmland. You did not factor in that you have a community relationship. You are wasting my time. So my point is this: before we look at what the financial services sectors can do better, we should also look inward. Try to solve as much challenges as possible. Try to look, and that's where collaboration and everything comes. You can't do this on your own. Nobody can survive on his own. You can, just 2 more seconds. You can survive on an island, but you are only surviving, you are not living. What I mean by that is, for example, on an island, you have coconut and things like that, and you think that you are living life. But it is when you get out of the island that you now realize that, look, the coconut you have been living on is because you don't have any other option. There are other better things that you can be eating other than coconut. But because you saw coconut and you saw parfum, you dress yourself with parfum and you are drinking coconut water, it's because you are on the island. But if you want to live a life that is of a higher value, that is, if you want to attract value, you need to collaborate with people. So you join hands with people. There are people. These are wonderful people. We mentioned something in passing. The kind of training it did for people that want to access a particular fund. I didn't know people do training, and for those who want to access those funds. Now, some of us struggle to get those funds. Now, if I'm struggling against someone he has already coached, I'm already disadvantaged.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know that information until you just mentioned it. And he mentioned 2 funds that in passing. I'm sure they do more than 2 funds. That they do coaching for. That's what we in our own industry call business support. We provide business support to people. We provide technical assistance to people and things like that, which is what it is. So that's the advantage of this kind of avenue. I gave about 2-3 things from my co-panelists here now that I think we can also focus on. So don't focus on the bigger, well, I'm not saying don't focus on, but don't focus too much on the bigger picture of what can these people do for me. Focus on how can I improve on myself so that I can position myself in such a way that when I go to them, I will be irresistible to them, no matter how challenging it is. Thank you.
You have actually answered 2 questions in one, because I was going to give you the right and say, okay, what are the recommendations for us that are trying to seek money from the financial sector, financial services? But he has gone ahead to give us those recommendations on what you need to do. The summary of what he said is, if you want to scale up, do the needful, join collaboration. I'm going to quickly say something that I have someone that runs the shop years ago, and I went there recently, about 5 months ago, and I saw that the shop was empty, and I was like, Mama, what's happening now? She said, it's a spiritual arrow. That is our understanding. Now, SMEs, MSMEs, they are the largest employers of labor after the government in Nigeria. A lot of us are with private companies. Those of us that are multinational, even though we all desire how many of us will get there, how many can they employ. So MSMEs, SMEs, they are critical to the survival, they are critical to the economic utility of this nation. I'm coming to Mr. Sheye now. My question is, what are the challenges of we that hold the SMEs? Beyond our spiritual what can we do? Because we're here to learn. A lot of us are running this about we are going to epileptic sessions, seasons of our lives of the business. What can we do differently? What are the challenges and what can we do differently? Thank you.
Thank you so much for that question. So, if we don't agree that MSMEs in Nigeria have problems, then we have not even started. So, according to the figures in 2022 from the survey conducted by Smithers and National Bureau of Statistics, we have 39.6 million MSMEs in Nigeria. So let's round it up to 40 million. In a country of about 200 million people, that means 1/5 of the population is doing one business or the other. MSME is at 9.6 million, contributing about 50% to our GDP, responsible for about 80% of employment. But between me and you, what is the quality of those small businesses? It's not just about figure. 1/5 of the population is a large figure, 40 million people doing one business or the other. But how much capacity are we building? I keep mentioning capacity, so I will mention the challenges. Number one is capacity building. So it's not just about having a shop, going on Instagram or TikTok to dance, and posting it on Instagram and saying that you are trading or whatever. Business is a lot more than that. Capacity is a major problem. And I can share my own personal experience. So I started running a business in 2011. I lost a job. And I said the next thing was to run a business. I was in my early 30s, right? Yeah, 2011, yeah. I was in my early 30s. I started running a business and I ran that business for 3 years. And we had very good days, but also very terrible days. And in 2014, I didn't need a prophet or anybody to tell me that I needed to go look for a job again. Because I was giving, in fact, I gave my wife a check. Do you know why I had to give her a check? I was borrowing from her, and I saw when she said, if I need to give you this money, you must give me positive checks.
Good.
And I said, this guy, you have actually messed up yourself, because that was just to assure that I was going to pay back. And at that point, I knew I needed to go and look for a job again. So one thing I need to also tell entrepreneurs, if it's not working, there's nothing stopping you from going back to it too. Please, don't keep using coconut head if it's not working. You can put something aside and go. I needed to just have that breather. I went to pick up a job again, right? And by the time I left the job, I was head of corporate comms and marketing comms for HMO. By the time I left, I learned a lot of things because I was running the business by the side. I got mentors. I got to know about enterprise support organization like Faith Foundation. I got a lot of resources, and I started immersing myself in those things. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing today. And so, by the time I came back in 2017 to start running my own business, I had become a better person. I had built capacity. I had richer network. And that's why some 3 years after I started MSME Africa, because I wanted the next SME to have access to resources. So capacity is a major problem. The fact that you have been a doctor for 15 years, 20 years, does not mean you can run a hospital well. Technical skill is different from business management skill. You will be the best doctor, you can do the best surgery, but can you manage the staff? Can you manage paying salaries month in, month out? I paid salaries some days ago, so I know what it means. That if month end is coming, you are not excited. But some people are excited because they are going to get paid. But the reverse was the case when you're on the other side. You were waiting for salary. Now you are waiting for how to pay people's salary. So, that you have the technical skill, you being a doctor, does not mean you go and start a business tomorrow and you think everything will be fine and you are not acquiring more skills. So every one of us say, whether you've been in any sector before, in my own case, I work in an advertising agency, so I went to start an agency. I had the technical skill, but did I know how to manage people? Did I know how to chase brief from clients? Did I know how to ensure that we have LG cash flow? I didn't know all of those things. I was more or less a dummy. But when it comes to the knowledge of business, I had it. Do you have, apart from the technical skill, do you have business management skills? So if you don't have capacity, that's a big challenge, but we don't talk about it. And then the next one, of course, is funding. Funding is a major problem. Get 10 MSMEs in this room and ask them, what is your major problem? None of them will say funding. But let's ask a question. We have the MSMEs, we have the startups, and I play in those spaces, but I know there is dichotomy. Akim knows, you work with our Lagos Innovate, so those are the startup guys. in the midst of saying we are not getting funding, you get to hear the news that so startup just got $2 million pre-seed, seed, series 1, series 2, series 3. $2 million is how much? 2 billion. But you have been chasing 200,000 from that microfinance bank for 3 years. What is wrong? The problem is that, can they trust you? What's the structure of your business? Do they see a future? That's the playbook of the startups. Paystack, Flutter. The investor sees that they can scale and they are driving their business with technology. But you want to remain in that your store at the roadside and you are not putting any expansion plan there and you want me to bring 5 million. When you exhaust the market in that location, where are you going next? So, if you are not able to scale, if I don't see the future, you will not get the funding. 2021, PwC released a report that said that the funding gap for MSMEs was, I think, 670 billion naira. But interestingly, the 670 billion naira that MSMEs are looking for was just about 2 to 3% of the total lending by the banks. It either meant that the banks were not serious or the MSMEs were not meeting the conditions for the funding. And I want to stay with the second one. We're not meeting conditions because I've had people come to my community to say, we're doing this in Cameroon, we want to expand to several African countries. Well, let's have a sample of 20 MSMEs in your community and see whether they can access our facility. None of them was qualified. Because we're asking them, what was your revenue for last month? They don't know. What was your profit? What was your cash flow like? They don't know. So if you don't have all of those answers, why do you want me to trust, why do you want me to trust you with my fund? It's just a case of giving you the fund and I'm saying go to law because it may never come back. So capacity is very important. Record keeping is very important. Of course, government is there. Let's not talk about government today. Government is a major, but okay, they are recording this. But everybody knows that government is a major, especially when it comes to the policy environment where we play. But capacity building, let's talk about the ones within your power. Capacity and record keeping, and let me just stay with those ones. Thank you.
Thank you. Capacity, develop yourself. The second one was there's time to go forward, there's time to reverse. If the going forward is not going, engage the reverse gear and go and strategize. Let me tell you, if you're sitting here, you want to go into entrepreneurship, think of coming to run business school. I just want to say that. So I'm going to Mr. Akin. We have mentioned that government is this. He didn't want to complete the sentence. I'm not going to complete it either. But I have a question that will help us. So we've heard the challenges and we've heard where all of us have maybe failed as entrepreneurs. Now we're coming to the government. Are there some public policies that can be put in place to help entrepreneurs? I know that you have a background in public policy. Is there anything that government could do to help us with sustain growth? Please share with us.
Okay, thank you very much. Next time on business school, I want to be the moderator. So let me also piggyback on something you said that we have SMEs hustling, trying to raise $500,000, $1 million, not even raise, get from the bank at interest as a loan. We have startups raising pre-seed, which means that the person that is giving you the money knows that this startup might not fly, but he's taking in your future to say, try, in case you blow. Because that's what they did for Paystack, in case you blow, that's what they blew. And the people became millionaires. But one thing in the ecosystem that we don't do in SMEs, if you notice, you always, when they say people have raised money, how many times do you see only one person doing like this on the picture? It's very few. There are only 2 people standing. They call themselves co-founders, leveraging on each other's strengths. For SMEs, it's almost different. We want to own it. Let me get the idea. We don't know how to be doing. I may not have everything hard, but can we also start? I know it is hard because sometimes, because people think your business is a business. Some people it's a wife or a husband. Some people's business are almost as important to them as their children. So sharing with somebody as a co-founder is hard, I know. Because sometimes the person doesn't even understand how it is doing you. So now say you want to share and be getting ideas. So that person is even slower than you. You will say by 2 a.m. and then I don't come. By 7 you don't enter market. You now say you have a co-founder. The guy now say, okay, I'm still sleeping, I wake up at 8. Okay, I don't enter market. What time you go, so you will even go our separate ways. So it's important to also start collaborating in that line. It's just you are very good technically in terms of your business. You know how to turn around the money, you know where to. Maybe you need a co-founder who is a badass finance guy who can help you with your book so that when you are going. So imagine you go to a bank and say, so we have two co-founders for my agribusiness. I have spent 15 years in the agribusiness, and my co-founder has spent 10 years in the finance business, having worked with PwC, Citibank, and Standard Chartered Bank. As a bank, there is some confidence that you have because of what you just heard about the co-founders. And sometimes people stake not in the business, but in you as an entrepreneur. The founders that get this money, sometimes they stake in them. And that's why they are always going with all those big names. I went to this business school, I worked with this banker. When you hear, so imagine you are a billionaire and you started your career in Citibank. And you know what Citibank did to you as a trainee, how professional you are. Someone then comes and says he worked Citibank for 10 years, rose to become chief this, and now a founder of the company. Come and invest. Won't you invest? Because you know that if this guy knows what I know, this guy knows he fail. So those are what maybe to start looking at collaboration. Some founders are very good technically. Some in fact, but you know there is no business without marketing. Marketing is almost half of what you do. Almost everything you do as a business owner. But they don't buy, you don't make money. Okay, so maybe also time to start looking at those kind of collaborations to say how can I leverage my strengths. Now to the question of what government is doing here. Yes, I did public policy and I decided to join government because I just felt like what are you doing in that place in Concord? But one thing I want us to change our mind is let's not see policies as from government to us. Let us start to reverse it. From us to them. Now, how does a policy start? So for example, let me give an example. So my wife, I was in what do you call it? I was out of the house. My wife was going to get a national passport for her and the child. And when they got to the immigration, they were going to do the passport. That's what they said they had to call the father of the child to confirm that it's my wife and my son. I said, I was angry that how can you become? You know why? Most likely they've had cases where women do passport for children and then take them away. And fathers not even aware. Which means that for policies to happen, there have been problems, there have been complaints, there have been issues. Now then the government say, let us do this to curb this. But most of the time they are seeing it from an angle. That's why ideally there's also the consultative forum before the policy should even be passed. Instead of being at the receiving end of that policy, can we start to be proactive and initiate, start interfacing? Who is the chairman house committee on business process? Who is the chairman house committee? Let's go and meet him. Say, sir, that's what they do us. This policy that you should make. Whatever you hear is a lie. Now we do the business. Now we know how they do us. So let us start to be the ones to initiate. And you can't do that as a single entrepreneur. That can only be done. That's why SMIDA, NASMI, NASI have that access to the ministers. They are the ones that know. They know what they hear. Because in government, interestingly, what you see is different from what the people at the top see. You see two different things. A child, for those of us who have children, a child is saying that I want to buy a bicycle, bicycle. This Christmas is coming. He is saying that because there is food at home, it means you have money. As a parent, you are seeing something different. What you are seeing is school fees in January. Yes, the Mama Day village. My brother also come back. So he is seeing bicycle. You are seeing Bukata. You will not be wondering why you take certain decisions. You cannot explain to him because you also understand. So there's also a need for us to close that gap. See, there is rarely any policy you want for business development that the child does not have. Tax break. I mean, you say you want tax break, tax incentive. There is a policy for it. That says MSME are also supposed to pay. If you are making less than say 5 million naira per year or something, you don't pay tax. That's tax break. If I'm a minister, I'll tell you there's a policy of that. If you are talking about what do you call it? SMEs being able to employ more people, you hear that if you are a small business and you are paid and you have less than that many staff, there is a way they calculate to pay you for it where you don't have to pay as much. So all those policies, what we should be doing is to look at those policies and say, as at when they made them, and now, does it work for us? No. What needs to work for us? We put it together on paper and present it ourselves. Let me give you an example. So the Nigerian, someone was telling me on the panel that the NUC, the Joint Investors Commission, was trying to review the curriculum of our universities. Because you just cannot put any new course as a school. You have to go and get. So they have to reshuffle their own policy framework to accommodate new courses. That intention started in 2008. This is 2023. We've not passed that policy. You know what that is? When we eventually pass or agree on that policy next year, we are agreeing on a 16-year-old policy. What we then need to do is to say, see, thank you very much for giving us version 1. But version 1 is land. We are proposing version 2. Because if you leave them to it, problem is. According to them, they have sought a child, and this, and what has this comment person done? In his mind, it's an achievement, because in 15 years of establishment of this thing, no policy has been reviewed. He has done it, groundbreaking. For him, let him go and drink water on that one first. For him, should be when I come, they shouldn't even drown before me. They are even trying, they even thank me, they even clap for me. So also you need to interface. But you cannot interface if you don't understand the existing policies that are on ground to favor SMEs. When we get that information, we look at it as a group. Call your lawyer friends, say, come, this policy, you know the previous thing. How do we do it? You do a new draft. You interface with the House Committee, the National Assembly. Tell them this is what you want. This is how it is doing us. That is how we then influence policies. And some, for developed countries, they even go a step further. They come together as a party, as a political party, to say, this man is clamoring for our interest. We will vote for him. Because when he gets there, he will do what we want. Now imagine if one of the small SMEs, or one of the SMEs in Lagos State now, maybe have an association, and the president who you know is fighting for your right becomes the governor of the state. There is some confidence that this guy, when he gets there, now also will do well. Because he knows how it is speech. So in terms of policies, I don't think Nigeria lacks any of the policies that we need. If you go into data, we have plenty. Two things we lack is one, implementation. But you know what implementation, because nobody is doing monitoring and evaluation for each of the policies. In a fact organization, tell we have an MD here. You say you want to do this policy. Ideally, now all of us are working in private sector, we are doing strategy now. And now what happens? By June, July, we come back and say, did you work? We review it. And then we say, okay, you worked, you did not work, what do we change? In December again, we sit down and say this. Do we do that for our policies? No. Who should be the one telling government is not working? Who should be the one telling government saying, policy will have passed that time? We take for now, God bless you now. But now, you know they work. This part is broken. This part is broken. Call them to the table. When we don't do that, the House Assembly member that passed that law has 4 other laws he wants to pass to. So he has helped you, he has come. He's facing the 3 new groups. Until you go and hold the shirts and say, okay, it's time. So we need to engage, and you cannot engage as a single entity. You need to engage as a group. You cannot engage if you don't understand what policies. Lagos Employment Trust Fund gives loans to businesses at 9% interest rate per year. 9. NPR is what? 18.75. Even banks cannot give you less than the NPR. At 9%. For that 9%, what do you need? You need to have your business in Lagos. You need to be resident of Lagos because that's government money. You need to have your tax up to date. Because the question is, it's coming from taxpayers' money. Also, you need to have your record. And sometimes SMEs have that, as business owners, we have that difference at side. You know you need 50 million to take your business to the next level. But what the bank is asking from you is loan affordability. Can you pay back this 50 million if I give you? Is your business doing enough revenue as of today to handle this loan? Are we over-capitalizing your business? If you cannot, and the only way that question can be answered is from what Mr. Papa said, is from your records. And when they check and see you cannot handle it, it depends on you now apply for. And the one that will give you that loan, even if your records don't say you can, how do they hedge their risk? They increase their interest rates. Say at least before you go away, you pay 4 or 5 times, you don't pay half of my loan, finish. Nobody you go sell global village too. All of us the entire. But because our loans are no collateral, just guarantee from someone that knows you, and guess what? Business doesn't even have. You tell someone, and you should get landlord. What manner of science say I guarantee? I know the person that knows business. That's what we need. But we will have to do that due diligence on that history. Why? Because these loans are what? Are not secured. It's only guaranteed. But for someone that's going to give you 20% interest rate per month, he can give you 100 million and come collect. Come collect. By the time you pay 3 times, I call everybody in your family, I post someone's obituary, I say you fell out yesterday, you pay back the remaining 4 months. But most importantly, back to the question is policies are existent. It's important for SMEs to look at those policies and activate and say which one works, which one does not work, how do we interface back to the government via the existing channels to review it so that it can work. And when the candidates come back for elections, those are things you ask them as campaign grounds, not just dancing as campaign grounds. To say, you said you do this for us last year. This policy, are you going to do it when you get there? The person says no. You say thank you very much. It was nice talking to you right at the campaign. And look at candidate B. That's the only way it can work for us. The people who vote the leaders that we have, Nigeria is working for them. Yeah. People who vote Nigeria is working for them because they are person and individual. As SMEs, where are our own people? So that it can also work for us. Thank you.
Thank you for that round of applause. I think that if we even close the session now, we have gotten value. I have gotten value. Everything I've learned here is adding value to top what I've learned as a student in the World Business School of Nigeria. I'm going to share, we have less than 20 minutes left now, so I'm going to share the last question to our panelists, and then I'm going to discuss with the audience. I'm going to engage for 1 minute. So Dr. Pai, I'll give you a question you have. You want to think about it. I'm not asking you to answer immediately. So I'm going to be asking you, are there educational or skill development recommendations that you have? We have spoken about our challenges, we can't keep records. Are there specific programs, skills that you want to recommend? I'm coming to you for that answer now. So it's going to be, what would you say to a small business owner that wants to scale up, that is struggling, that, okay, guy, I think you need help. Why don't you try X, Y, Z, beyond praying? And beyond discussing with your community? Why don't you try this to structure yourself? So I'm coming to you for that. And then the last question will be, your institution where you work currently, Western Agro-Allied Services, we know what they do. I've read your profile, I've checked. How can the institution like yours contribute? You're writing, okay? How can they contribute to building a robust entrepreneurial ecosystem? How can they? Yours is a typical example of a private sector in agribusiness. Mr. Sheyek, I'm going to ask you 2 questions. Please take note. I'll come back to after and engage the audience. Number 1. How can entrepreneurs create differentiation in private markets to ensure that their brand stand out? We've tried TikTok, we've tried IG, we've tried everything. Nothing is working, actually. That's the truth. And the economy is getting better. Let's not say another thing. In a crowded market or in a market that is epileptic or in a market that is requiring all kinds of prayer now, what can you do to stand out? What's the differential strategy that you can have? The second question is going to be, are there some innovative or unconventional approaches that between one question? What can we do differently that startups can employ to gain attention and recognition without empty marketing budget? Kuda, Flutterwaves, Facebook, we see them online. They have a very good social media background. They have a lot of people supporting them. Okay, I'm a small business owner here. I'm an SME. I don't have that budget for advertising. I'm not even sure I can afford it because I'm barely paid for the use for the generator. So without that kind of a budget, how do I put myself out? Are there unconventional ways I can actually trade and attract the kind of visibility I require? Then I'm coming to Mr. Ashim. You will be answering last, but I just want you to take note now. I want you to focus on, are there specific programs or incubators or networks in Lagos? Some of us have heard for the first time that there is WhatsApp group, which I'm joining. I've joined already, because I'm taking it on that. You have me. So I'm saying, are there networks, specific programs or incubators in Lagos that anybody here could join and leverage on to sort of overcome the certain challenges? And I'm talking about everybody, even our photographer is taking part, the videographer, all of us are SMEs, the size might just be different, okay? So if there are any of them, what do we need to do to get to them and what are they? Then lastly, I'm going to be asking you, I need to know the emerging technologies that we are all seeing, how can we leverage on them to create more interconnectivity, to create more of our network? Emerging technologies emerging every day. There are some certain ones right now. I'm not just talking about AI, there are even ones that have existed before. What can we do? Because some of us are here now, we're not social media savvy, okay? We're struggling with WhatsApp, we're struggling with email. What can we do? What are those technologies that can make a difference to the way we're running our business? I'm coming to you in a minute's time. My dear audience, I want to say this very quickly. When we finish this session, make a point of networking with who is sitting next to you. Don't be that person that will come to a session that talks about collaboration, that talks about connection, and will go home without a connection. Connect somebody in home business school, connect somebody next to you. You don't know who is sitting next to you. We have just 15 minutes. Does anybody have questions? Let me see your hands up. So I'll just know how many questions we're looking at. Two. Okay, you also have time to think about it. I'll take it. I'm going to give you one very brief example of how networking can fail. I have a mentor, very big in the industry now. She told me that about 20 years ago, she was in UK. And she came out of the tube station and she saw somebody, I'll mention his name at the end. He was walking in front of her with a suitcase. And she said, her speed man said, say hello to him. And she was like, you don't know, what will I say? And was like, just say hello to him. She said she walked behind him for like, you do a lot of walking in UK because it's not every point that you see Mara or bike or car, you get to your bus station. And she said, as she was walking behind him, she was counting and like when it was about 20 minutes, it got to when he was not going to take a bus. And she saw a young man come and rush and sir, this is me, sir. And that man shook his hand and said, what are you doing here? Very said, okay, take my number. She said she stood there because she was apparently also going to the bus station. So I'm going to tell you what happened. She said she stood there looking at them. Well, you know, I'm shy. I don't know how to talk to people. She did not approach. She was there when somebody else did what she couldn't do. Today, that person is the president of Nigeria. I'm telling you. And she said to me that she always knows that if she had approached him and just said, I can't transfer, in Yoruba, and took his briefcase, and she knows that would have made a difference to her. So you might not meet the person who's supposed to be the next president, but you don't know where I'm going now. So take my number. All right. That was just my way. But I'm just saying that you don't know who's sitting next to you. You will never know. Names have been announced in the cabinet for the past 2 weeks that we never thought about. Some of them we saw them come, like Mr. Wale, highly respected professional. So maybe we saw those come. But there's some names that have come out in the past 2 weeks that you never saw coming. You don't know who is next to you. You don't know where Dr. Humphrey is going. You don't know where Mama is going. So make a point. Networking starts from here. If you cannot network as an individual, your business itself will be invisible. So we're going back to our panelists now. Thank you, everybody. A round of applause for yourself. So register with no business school. All these skills, you pick them up. So Mr. Topper, you remember what I said. So please, you're free to go ahead. We have like 15 minutes and then we'll take 1 or 2 questions. Mike.
Okay, so thank you. Just briefly, let me just write a little, just about 10 seconds on the last point. Some of the things we also look out for when you do credit is the soft part. And the soft part, the example I will give you is pay attention to your digital footprint. I tell my siblings, pay attention to your digital footprint. All of us that use people online, be careful. Either you use a burner account to do that. Don't use your, if you check my profile, it's always, my name is full. I cannot use my full name profile to abuse anybody online. So you don't know when you will need the development financiers fund and you are going to abuse the UK Prime Minister. It will stick out in your profile. I'm just saying this, I don't know, most of us are young guys, we have social media handles. Create a social media, okay, don't let me say it that way. But if you are going to do something wrong, if you are going to be displaying useful exuberance, pardon me, that's the least I can use. Please don't use your full name profile to do it. Okay, let me say it the right way. Don't do the wrong thing online. Everything you do online is creating a footprint. And I can assess it. I do it where I work. When you come to me as we are talking character analysis, I analyze your character. So if you are the kind of person that all the pictures you are posting is ORF pictures, it's not like that I'm going to do it for you. Because I will have a tendency that this guy is not really serious with your business. If all you are talking about online are boys and girls, and you're not talking about your business, it's not like it. So I'm just saying be careful of your digital footprint. That's an aside. And then second aside is also an aside. Did you notice, I noticed it just here, man. Did you notice that all of us on this row have glasses on? And a lot of people in the audience have glasses. The thought that came to my head is, are you thinking about the value chain of glasses? There are people supplying yeast, there are people supplying the glasses. Are you thinking that there is money? The children now these days are wearing glasses. And I don't know, it's just occurring to me that there's a businessman, a lot of people are now using glasses, and there's a businessman here. So that's just an aside. The two questions I have, the resources for SMEs. The last time I was asked a question like this, I use an example of what they call SME toolkit. So you can Google it, SME toolkit. When I used it, it was quite robust, and I'm told that the last, I had a session with Ventures Park last year also that I mentioned this. As at December last year also was when that session was. And I'm told that they've improved on it. It's very versatile. And the last time I used it, it was free. I don't know whether it's still free now. Okay, thank you. So it solves a lot of problems for you. You don't need to, okay, you don't need to go to some, to go and learn some other things because it makes your life easier. Of course, online too, you have your Udemy's and things like that where you can learn some of these things. And of course, going to join an association, for example, when we were talking, you were mentioning the products you want to export, is because we also wanted to go into a particular part of export, spices and things like that, and we had to join the Ginger Association in Nigeria and some other things. So, like I said, nobody can operate in a silo. So, for the resource for you, SME Toolkit is the first thing I point. It's very fast. And then secondly, make sure you don't shut yourself out. You cannot, there is this proverb, there is this story of tortoise. It gathered all the wisdom in the world. He wanted to put it on top of the tree, and then he couldn't climb the tree. If you are from a village, you know the story. And then somebody told him and said, "Come, why don't you put the wisdom at your back instead of in your front? Because he's trying to guide the wisdom with his eyes, and he's trying to climb the tree." And he now put it at his back, and he realized that you can't tree, and that's what that. So I don't have all the wisdom. No matter how good you are, even if you are an A student, A person, you don't have all the wisdom. So networking, which is what we are trying to do here, learning from others. In my secondary school, I failed a particular course. How I failed it, I can't explain, but I failed it. So, not failed it, but I didn't pass it for the course I wanted to do. It wasn't a fail, it was a pass for the week pass. So I had to go to a younger colleague and say, look, this course I failed. You know this course is, as you wake up, you know it, like no man's business. Can you mentor me? The guy was surprised. And it was like, me mentoring you. I said, yes. There's no pride in it. See, don't be proud about what you don't know. There's no big deal about it. You don't know something and you're not proud. You just don't trouble for you. So the guy was too conscious of me that he was like, the fact that I came to him, I did better than him eventually in the final exam. Why? Because I knew that I don't know it. There's no point in me being proud. So that's also part of what I would encourage, apart from SME to be networking people. You don't know it, you don't know it. Go to somebody that knows it and teaches. The second part, we're seeing the ecosystem improvement. Well, what we do for us is what I encapsulate in what we call business support. Business support is vast, but just to make it simple, not all businesses are investment ready. So when you come to an investor, you feel when he doesn't want to invest in you, you feel that he doesn't like you. You feel that you did your best, but your best is not investment fit or investment ready. That's number one. So what we do is we try to provide business support to people that they say, look, we are not trying to hurt you. We are not trying to make you feel bad by rejecting you. So we give you some other support to make you investment ready. But sometimes we are not even the best investment for you. Sometimes you don't even need to go to others. For example, if you are a startup, here, I will encourage you, your proof of concept stage, apart from, of course, you mentioned pre-seed and things like that, but what they mentioned is deeper than just by word of mouth. There are a lot of work that goes into it. Sorry, just 10 seconds and I'm close. I have a group of people that wanted to do jam. I don't want to go into full detail because some of us know the business is now expanding. But when they came, they were putting yams in, they fry it a little and then sell it to stores and things like that. So you just buy it like that and completely frying and eat. So it's like yam chips, but not chips like that. Now they came out with a concept that when they pitched to me and some other people, I was like, this is nice, but have you done your proof of concept? And I said, yes. Who did you do your proof of concept with? They are friends. Your friends will not, your friends will tell you the truth, but they will tell you a colored truth. So, because if I pitch to you and you are all my friends, you will say it's a good idea. None of you will tell me something is not a good idea. You won't want to do that. So pitch to people on your street, people who are not really your friends, who don't have your time. As you're talking to them, they are walking away. Pitch to them and see their reaction. So these people now took it out to these people, and they realized that people like the product, but they don't like the way they are cutting it. And don't forget, they are cutting it in square. So they are wasting a lot of products, because if you have to cut yam in square, a lot of part of the yam goes to waste. You can try with pineapple of the yam. So they have to change the concept, change the packaging, change the kind of frying they provide. So it's not ready to eat, it's now semi-ready to eat, and they were able to eat the market and do better. My point is this: as a startup, you have brilliant ideas, you have wonderful ideas. Part of business support is for you to do proof of concept. Don't do proof of concept only with your friends and family. Do proof of concept for other people you feel like they don't like you, but continue persevere. When you approve the concept, if you are open-minded, you will bring back some concepts. You might feel that you should package it because you love black color, you love black shirts. You might have packaged it in black packaging, and people might have told you that black is even what's pushing them off. Sorry, just emulsions. I have a product. One of us know okay, pap. When the person started, she started with wet pap, packaging wet pap, because the idea was that she came from the village and she said, oh, all of us buy pap. If you are from the village like me, you buy pap in wet form, not the black powder that you see in Lagos. So she started with the wet form, but it wasn't selling in Lagos because you need reputation and so many other things to do it. So she had to go to the powder form, which all of us know, or most of us know. But to add an edge to what she's doing, she now do what variant. Most of us know yellow, most of us know white. But this client went further to say, look, all of us are tired of yellow, all of us are tired of white. So by the time I go to this, you probably know the question. This person now went forward to add flavors to it. So you have the strawberry flavor for the children, you have the ginger flavor for the elderly, you have the guinea corn infused into the pap. So there are about 4 flavors. I've forgotten about the popular one is strawberry because it's almost everybody knows. But my point is this: if you go to the store and you see pap, she started with wet. She did into the market rejected wet. She didn't cost the market and say, you people, you can't do it. She went back and started powder. And now she entered powder the same way every other powder is yellow and white and said, look, I want a distinction. Of course, our packaging is good. She now infused with strawberry and things that are flavors and things. Now she can sell at a premium. So when I go to it, my company distributes for her and some other people. So when you go to a store and you see strawberry flavored ogi, and you see white ogi and you see yellow ogi, if you are on the village like me, you will most likely pick strawberry because you are tired of the white, you are tired of the yellow. If you are a conservative old person, you will still pick the ginger one because they told you that ginger is good for old people. So one way or the other. So my point is this: look out for business support. The open and receptive to feedback from your proof of concept, and it shall be fine. Thank you.
A round of applause for him. Thank you very much. A round, if you can please clap. Thank you. How many questions do we have? Let's actually know so that we know how to quickly use uncle in blue. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, the uncle in glasses. Just 3. Ladies, no questions at all. You'll be the first person. Okay, well, we've counted up. Is there anybody else? Because we need to try and maximize the few 5 minutes that we have left, please. Okay, I'm going to take the questions now so that in case anybody needs to step out in the hurry. So I'm going to start with the lady. Please, stand up and ask your question, please. Sarah, do you need the mic?
No, I'm very audible.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
So my name is Enka Chilabuchi, a student of Rome Business School, presently IMBA. So my question is for Mr. Shea. Yes. So you spoke about networking, collaborations, connections, and all. So most times I network and then I don't know how to use it. How do I go about that? Like I go to events and then I collect numbers. At the end of the day, it's futile.
Okay, maybe.
No, sorry. Sorry. After you, the others will ask and they will just take notes. So everyone will know if they have questions or not.
So the next gentleman, please just raise your hands briefly. Yeah. your question, who is, please raise up and stand up and let's have a question.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, welcome, sir.
My name is Joshua, student of Rome Business School as well. Okay, so in terms of, since we already know that the challenge for SMEs is that they are not ready for funding, shouldn't we change our approach to funding SMEs and have support systems for them in terms of accounting, business advisory, and all of that, where someone who cannot hire a lawyer or an accountant can go to such bodies who will provide that support to them, number one. And then number two, when Singapore wanted to develop, they knew that they needed capacity in terms of manpower. And then they started training people in the areas, particularly technology, sent some people abroad for trainings to build capacity. So when they have the manpower, they could then attract the international organizations. So shouldn't we also, in terms of our businesses, look at people and say these people are not ready, but pick all our SMEs and have a system where they are then capacity building is prioritized over money. So that when they get to, you mentioned it about someone that trains people how to access funds. So why don't we have that kind of system where we spend money and time on capacity building and structuring and all these things, so that when it gets to that point of accessing these funds, these businesses are ready. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Akim is going to answer that question. Please. You are free to ask your question, sir. Just introduce yourself. Good afternoon.
My name is Okimu.
Okay.
My only question is on government policies. I'm just trying to, there are some mention in the issue of why maybe road workers and transport workers and all, why they are in numbers and all that. I would say that analysis in a very same environment is not right. Okay. Not. But my major question is, why is it that the SMEs and other people that are wounded when those policies are unleashed on them, how are they going to come together to actually talk to the government or take them to the kind of round table to say this thing? I mean, the whole number of businesses are holding that every day. And it's like we feel that it's okay and all that, and people come moving on with everything. So what are we going to do to actually have an engagement with the government and tell them these policies are very, very, very hurtful to people, and businesses are closing down every day and all that. So you now, what do you think in order to get these policies, most of them that are very not good, to get them, step them down, and for SMEs, because I think some of the problem is that SMEs need to actually come together in terms of collaboration, in terms of partnership, in terms of some other things and all that, to have that strong force to do, to actually have an effective union, kind of front to encounter or to actually make government engagement and all that. Because like in Northern Africa, even increments of bread with just one kobo can shut down the whole country, and at the end of the government will reverse some of their policies and all that. So what are we going to do as a community of SMEs and all that? Because switch out those policies that are very, 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 very hard on businesses and all that, so that government will have this rethinking and trying to step down those policies. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The last question, please.
Okay. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I have two questions. One for Mr. Akim and one for Mr.
Please go ahead.
Okay. My first question is for Mr. Akim. Government policy. SSTS. Yeah. You know we're in Nigeria. We are very low interest. You talk about interest. I know you know we have to. There are some religious sectors running as well. What is the government policy? How do we even assess this? Some of us we don't know. Is there a way you can tell we can guide us or someone? That's the question.
Thank you very much. Now, your question is from Mr. Akim. The other gentleman's question is from Mr. Akim. So, and I'm happy because he actually has to leave by 12:30. You know he's a public servant. So, duty calls anytime. He
he is needed at last and he needs to go, so he's still believing. So as he's answering the question, he also wraps up with his comments or recommendations about incubators where we can leverage. So please, over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. So, first is business support for SMEs. Yes. Now, business support for SMEs is something that not only the government is doing, but even private sector organizations. If you notice, grants organizations for small businesses, 5-10 years ago, we just say apply for grants, you get it, you get your money and go home. Now they change their business model. Now you apply for the grants, they take you through classes for a week or two, and then give you the grants afterwards. So there are quite a lot of business support services. Even LSCTF, as part of our interventions, that should be ready most likely before the end. By the middle of next year, we're trying to do what we call business vouchers for small businesses, which is you want to meet a lawyer to be able to discuss your business. Now, not every small business has that amount of money to go and meet a lawyer. Can you apply for a voucher? So if you give me a voucher, you go to a law firm and say, I have a voucher that means someone has paid for my services, for the services to come to you for 1 or 2 hours, advise me on this, for a lawyer, for maybe an accountant, for your tax. So that is in the pipeline. We're hoping that by the middle of next year that will be out, so that you can use that to access certain advisory services that would not necessarily be expensive. That's for that question. Now, for SMEs for advocacy, so the thing is, for those that follow, there's something they call the Startup Act that was just implemented recently. That act was all the founders in Nigeria, fintech, agritech, edtech, healthtech, come together to say we need to own our future. What policy, what bill do we need to pass to make it easy for us to raise funds, to make it easy for us to try? They came together, that bill, they did advocacy across Nigeria, they went to every state to have consultancy. That was not government, it was basically, eventually they found someone in government, Oswald was assistant to the president then, to champion it. So it was almost like, you want to, are you in or not? So it was not like they forced the hands of the government to do it. Oswald took it and he went round, and that was one of the fastest act or bill to act in Nigeria to date. And it's not a fintech act or a healthtech act, it was a startup act, which means that the community came together to own it and then pass it. And like, so it's important for SMEs to also come together. But like I said, you cannot, the only way, see, things are hard, it's not the policy recommendation. I don't know where that things are hard, it's not the policy review. It has to be on paper. What policy are you changing? What policy are you recommending? Which new one are you trying to enact? Everybody sees how Nigeria is hard, but that is not the policy on the House of Assembly. So, what are the existing policies? What issues are there that you want to change? Then what are you recommending? That's 2. Then 3 is in terms of, I think the question was in terms of interest, was it interest-free loans? Yes, I understand. Now, I worked at SBF for, I've been there for more than 3 years, and I can say that 9% is really not interest. To the outside world, it's called interest. To us, it's called cost of lending. The portal you're going to use to apply, we pay for the hosting, the the verification we need to do for your business. We have to contract a BDSP to do it, and administrative expenses, so that we are still that organization to keep lending. That is it. But because we're in the finance world, it is called interest. But I'm telling you because of how the breakdown is, it's not an income. So interest is I know, I'm a Muslim, so I understand that Islam frowns at interest because you cannot make money from money. Make money from adding value. And then that. Not, I can't give you money to never and say that I'm going to say 123 naira, not because I give you. Islam frowns against that. That's why Islam is against interest. But as we are not making money from money we are giving you, we are just ensuring that we still, as an organization, we are still alive to give the next person loan when you pay. That's one. 2 is, we also have, the government has also made it easy by giving licenses to non-interest parties. We have the JIS, we have the loan tools, we have the sterling alternative. So sometimes the government doesn't have to do it themselves. For them to have given licenses to non-interest banks, it means that they open the market. So you can also interface with them. But a lot of them don't give working capital. A lot of them do is asset financing. They buy the assets for you, you both agree on the margin, you pay back, and then, but for them it's also risky because in Islamic finance means that if I borrow you money for a business, we both share the risk. The business goes down, my money is down. The business goes well, we share the bounty. For conventional banking, if the business goes down, not concern you. Okay, I will send a government agent in the house. You must pay back the money. That's different. But the government is trying. But I think to close is We understand how hard entrepreneurship is. It is a life. So it's difficult. I know last time my wife came back home and we bought beds and the beds died because of what is it, wrap or something. We were both crying in the house. Me, I was almost saying that just for CV, let's go back to 9 to 5. The next morning I saw her taking course. Yeah, I'm going to buy the next batch. I said, He said you have to continue going. So we admire the resilience, we admire that spirit of go-getting, and please be rest assured that the government will try its best to support you. We are not there yet, but we are a work in progress. Thank you very much.
Sorry, Mr. Akim has to leave us. We love him, but we have to let him go and answer all of the comments. So he's serving us in other dimensions too. Thank you very much, Mr. Akim. It was a pleasure having you. Thank you very much. Round of applause for him.